Gaslighting, a form of psychological manipulation designed to make someone question their perception of reality, is a deeply painful and damaging experience. When this manipulation comes from family members, the impact is even more devastating. Family is expected to be a source of love, trust, and support. When that foundation is compromised through gaslighting, it can leave an individual feeling emotionally shattered, isolated, and uncertain of their own reality. One of the most insidious aspects of being gaslighted by family is the gradual erosion of self confidence and trust. Gaslighting works by undermining the victim's sense of reality. A family member might deny past events, twist facts, or dismiss your feelings, making you question your own memories, emotions, and judgment. Over time, this causes confusion and self doubt. The more a person is subjected to gaslighting, the more they begin to question their own sanity, unsure if their perceptions are accurate or if they are just overreacting. The emotional toll can be overwhelming. Feelings of anxiety, helplessness, and depression often arise as a result. The victim may constantly feel on edge, unable to trust their own thoughts, and may even begin to feel like they're going crazy. This emotional distress is compounded by the fact that the person doing the gaslighting is often someone close to them, making it even harder to escape the situation. Another devastating effect of gaslighting by family is the sense of isolation it creates. Gaslighters are often skilled at manipulating the narrative to the point where the victim feels alienated from others. Family members may support the gaslighter's version of events, leaving the victim feeling unsupported and alone. This can make it difficult for the person being gaslighted to seek help, as they may fear they won't be believed or that others will side with the manipulator. When living in the same household, isolation can also occur when the gaslighter subtly encourages the victim to doubt or sever relationships with other family members, making it harder to reach out for support. This sense of being cut off from the people who should be their biggest supporters deepens the emotional distress, creating a toxic environment where the victim feels trapped with nowhere to turn. Perhaps one of the most devastating aspects of being gaslighted by family members is the damage it does to self worth. Family is supposed to be a place of safety, validation, and unconditional love. But when gaslighting is present, it creates an environment where the victim feels unworthy of trust, respect, or care. They may internalize the manipulation, believing that they are somehow at fault, that their emotions are irrational, or that they are undeserving of support. Over time, this can lead to feelings of deep shame and a loss of identity. Victims of gaslighting often struggle with feelings of guilt and self blame, which can prevent them from confronting the abuser or seeking help. They may feel as though they are the problem, when in reality, it is the gaslighter who is manipulating them. One of the most effective tactics in gaslighting by family members is the deliberate use of alienation and shunning to block open communication and prevent the target from confronting the manipulation. By spreading lies, distorting the truth, or sowing distrust in the victim's relationships, the gaslighter creates a wedge between the victim and other family members or friends. The alienation manifests as complete silence, avoidance, and blocking all communication channels, outright refusing to address the victim's attempts at conversation. By withholding communication, the gaslighter creates a power imbalance, leaving the victim in a state of emotional limbo. The lack of response or acknowledgement sends a message that the victim's feelings and experiences are not valid, deepening their confusion and sense of worthlessness. The silence is not only a form of control, but also serves to further alienate the target, making it harder for them to address the gaslighting behavior or seek support from others. Over time, this emotional neglect can have a devastating effect on the victim's mental health, causing feelings of rejection, loneliness, and despair. This alienation ensures that the target has fewer avenues to discuss what is happening and seek help, leaving them feeling completely alone. Over time, the victim may become increasingly isolated, unable to share their feelings or experiences, as they fear being further misunderstood or rejected. This sense of isolation compounds the psychological damage, deepening feelings of loneliness, self doubt, and confusion. It also reinforces the gaslighter's control, making it harder for the victim to gather the strength and validation needed to address the gaslighting behavior. The longer the alienation continues, the greater the psychological toll on the victim, who may begin to feel that they are solely responsible for the breakdown in communication, or that their reality is so distorted that no one could possibly understand or support them. This constant isolation not only erodes the victim's sense of self, if they are living in the same household, it also makes them more dependent on the manipulator for emotional guidance, further entrenching the cycle of gaslighting. The long term effects of being gaslighted by family members is an incredibly painful experience that can leave deep emotional scars. It's a betrayal of trust that destabilizes the very foundation of the victim's sense of reality, causing confusion, isolation, and lasting damage to self worth. This type of abuse can lead to chronic mental health issues such as anxiety, depression, and post traumatic stress disorder. Additionally, the betrayal of trust from a family member can make it difficult to form healthy relationships in the future, as the victim may constantly fear being manipulated or lied to again. Rebuilding after gaslighting is a long and difficult process. It often requires therapy, support from trusted friends or other family members, and a great deal of self reflection to heal from the psychological harm caused. It's essential for victims to recognize the manipulation, rebuild their self esteem, and understand that they are not to blame for the actions of the person who gaslighted them. Recognizing gaslighting, seeking support, and prioritizing self care are crucial steps in healing from this form of psychological abuse. The road to recovery can be long, but it's important to remember that no one deserves to be manipulated, especially by those they love.